Uh, Boy, it's a good question. I tell you, Daniel continues to make steady improvement. Daniel Miller. Obviously, we haven't seen him in a game yet, but he continues. One of my concerns with him last year, and I talked to him all last year was about his conditioning and being able to get through whether it's the track running or individual instruction. And this year he's finishing those type of things much stronger. He's in better shape. He's a skilled basketball player. I think as long as he's able to stay on the floor and stay fresh, he'll be able to contribute. Lance has looked pretty good. He has shot the ball very well. And Shumpert actually is more consistent, I think, shooting the ball.
When you looked at the composition of Duke's team last year, they had a couple functional guys underneath that basically rebounded.
Yeah.
So even give up and rebound and kick it out.
Yeah.
Your team right now, where you have all the experience on the perimeter.
Yeah.
You got more functional guys underneath.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we had quite as much depth as they did. They had two seniors in Thomas, and Zubik's a fifth-year senior. Then you had freshman Plumlee, who was as good as any freshman in the league, maybe except for Derek Favors. And so, I mean, they were a little bit different. But, yes, I think, like them, our strength is on the perimeter. We have experience on the perimeter. And I think we can really shoot the ball well. But we're going to need the inside work is going to be by committee. It's not going to be – you don't have guys that – like I said, Thomas, Zubek, and the two Plumlee boys that you say, okay, you four just battle it out under there and everything else kind of takes care of itself.
Is that kind of like an 04, your team is composition?
Yeah, similar. Yeah, definitely. So. Who is the leader of our team? That's yet to kind of evolve. It's something I want to see how it goes. I mean, I have hopes of obviously our upperclassmen. I mean, we've got a senior point guard in Mo Miller. We've got a senior perimeter player in Lance Stores. You got a junior in Amon Shumpert. It's been a long time since we've had some senior ball handlers and playmakers that have put in some time on the court. So we'll see how it evolves.
Talk a little bit.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Could you talk a little bit about how Camion has come back from this injury?
He looks great physically, but you can tell this week we've been allowed to do those mini practices, and it's the first time we've really done. We've been concentrating on individuals, and you could just tell he's a little rusty when 4 other guys on the court, 9 other guys if you're scrimmaging. You could tell he's a little rusty, but he seems to be very healthy. Bothered by a little tendonitis, but that's nothing unusual for this time of the year when guys are going through preseason conditioning. I know he can rebound the ball. He's a very good ball handler. He's a very good passer. But I just think reaction time just needs to – it's a little slow right now. Yeah, he's done a very good job with his flexibility. That may not seem significant to anybody, but he was so stiff last year. He did a lot of yoga in the off season, and he's much quicker, much more flexible, which will help him to be a better ball handler, rather a better defender, and also make him more elusive when he changes directions with the ball. And he's shooting the ball very well. But he's somebody overlooked in terms of improvement from during the off season. He's made significant strides.
The last couple of years has been the turnovers.
I'm sorry?
The theme the last couple of years has been the inexperience in the backcourt. A lot of turnovers.
Yeah.
You probably have one of the more experienced
Yeah.
backcourts in the ACC right now. You
Yeah.
expect a big improvement
Yes.
in the backcourt.
Absolutely. Yeah, we should be much better taking care of basketball. Much better. And we should be a better free throw shooting team too.
Brian Oliver is kind of playing more of a wing this year,
Mhm.
obviously, without the big guys being.
Mhm.
What do you expect to see?
Well, you're going to see Brian play both 3 and 4, to be honest with you. I think he's a guy that he's physically strong enough. I mean, his dad was a football player at Iowa, and growing up, it was nothing for Brian to go down to the basement and lift weights with his dad. So he comes in, he's a big, strong kid to begin with. So you'll see him play some 4, and I think he's looking forward to it because he knows his ability to shoot the ball. He can be a matchup problem. And then you can play him at the 3 as well, so he can post up and continue to shoot the ball.
You can be undersized this year in a lot of cases, it looks
Mhm.
like. Are you looking at other teams like Don Nelson played a lot of undersized lineups? Are you looking elsewhere maybe at what other teams did when they had similar lineups?
We've done it. I mean, you go back to the very first year when we had Alvin Jones and John Babel who's our academic advisor now, was our power forward. And that team was able to knock off some pretty good teams. You look back. So I think it comes down to, I think, the point you made earlier, is taking care of the basketball. And, of course, we got to shoot the ball well from the floor and the foul line. But I think we'll be okay rebounding the ball. But even you look at, 04, I mean, you didn't have any big-time rebounders on the team. You had size, Luke, and everybody else is 6'7" or smaller, really. But we just got to box out and make sure everybody does their part in terms of getting the rebounds. I think once we get the ball, we're going to be pretty tough to guard.
So are you counting on the athletic players like Oliver and Rice to hit the boards pretty much?
Everybody. Iman's got to get his share of rebounds, and Jason Morris got to get his share of rebounds. Camion, Mufon, all of them got to.
Some of the players have talked about Coach McCollum's style being a little bit of a throwback, so to speak. What has been the benefit of having McCollum's style?
Well, he's working with the bigs, and he does a great job with the bigs. He does a really good job of teaching. I think his experience is something that certainly I think everybody can benefit from.
How much emphasis do you put on staying out of foul trouble, dumb fouls with your front court guys, because you are so razor thin?
Yeah, I think you'll see us employ some strategies to try to cut down the need for them to foul, if you will. You'll see us probably play a little more zone. You'll probably see us do some different things in the post in terms of when the ball goes in the post. That'll take some of the pressure off of them.
Last year, obviously, the talk was Derek coming out of your team. Are you a better team now than you were a year ago at this point?
A better team? At this point, I would say yes, because we're more experienced in the backcourt. Are we more talented? Probably not. But in terms of, you look at last year's team, I mean, we were counting on 4 freshmen to play a lot of minutes. That's tough. This year, I think we're much more experienced. We're counting on a couple of freshmen, 3 freshmen really, but 2 of them have been in the program for a year, so they have a better idea. So it's not all new to them. The biggest thing for Camion, again, is being off a year, but he sat and watched and he understands what's expected. It's just him getting his timing and speed up to where it needs to be.
Those guys like Glenn and Brian and Mufon have played a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The ACC championship games,
Mm-hmm.
NCAA tournament. What's that going to do for their confidence going into?
It does a lot, but I think more important, it gets them to understand what it took to get there. They know now. It's different to tell Nate Hicks and Jason Morris, well, this is what we got to do. They've experienced it. I mean, even Daniel sitting on the bench, during those games, watching it up close and understanding just how little things can mean a big difference, But, yeah, I mean, that helps you. Again, as far as today as we sit as a team, yeah, no question, we're better. But now let's see what happens as we progress.
Where does Nate fit into
We'll see. He's doing well. Very good shooter. He's a good shot blocker from what I can see. Like most freshmen, he's got to get used to how hard you got to play and the type of shape you got to be in and the strength level he's got to be at. That's his biggest thing right now. But, he's got a promising future. He's got a very promising future.
Is there pressure to play him, though, just because
That's a great question. It's something we gotta really be careful. You just can't waste. If he's not ready, and I'm not saying he is or isn't right now, but if he is not ready, we've got to be ready to make a decision whether it's the right thing to do for his long term. But I know he's going to be good. It's just a matter of when. Now the kid's telling me, and we can't watch him play. The kid's telling me he does better in the pickup games than he does in some of the track workouts and in the individual workouts. In the track workouts, I'm like, wait a minute, But the kids tell me all the time that he's pretty active. He blocks shots. They say he's doing well there, so I'm kind of anxious to see how he does.
How important is full court pressure going to be to your success this year?
We'll use it some. I'm not sure if it's going to be a staple because, again, I like – you're talking about a team that has a guy in mind that's 6'4", 6'5", Glenn is 6'6", Oliver is 6'5", Lance is 6'4", Jason Morris is 6'5". So you got guys with size. We can do a lot of things in the half court defensively that can really screw some teams up. When we had McHenry at the 4, we could switch a lot of ball screens, and that really, you'd be surprised how it kind of stuns people for a couple of seconds, and that gets them down to the end of the shot clock and end up forcing tough shots.
I know you've always liked to have the ball in Iman's hands at the point, but is he a guy that really could be a big-time scorer?
Yeah. I think putting him in a position, not necessarily close to the basket, but putting him in a position where he has more opportunities to score, is something that we definitely have to look at this year. Mhm.
finding a balance, because sometimes
Mhm.
you take bad shots or pass the ball too much. Or, I mean, kind of where, is he starting to find that balance? I mean, it's going to make him a good player.
I would think just by virtue of being a junior now, he has a better understanding, shot selection. He's older now. His work habits have always been very good, but I think now he's working even smarter from what I can see. But I just think the fact that he's a junior, and he also understands what we need him to do for this team to be successful. And I don't think anybody in our locker room thinks anything less than going back to the NCAA tournament is a successful season. I think we all realize that we have the ability to do that. And in order to do that, he's going to have to be more consistent. He can't have those up and down games. He can't have those games where he just does things and you're left scratching your head. And I think he understands that. So he's a junior, like I said. He's very talented. He was a big reason why we were able to get to the ACC finals last year. He was a big reason. If anybody watched the Oklahoma State game, he totally shut down the kid Joe Anderson, who was, I don't know where he got drafted, but he got drafted pretty high. So I mean, he's our most important player. There's no question about it. And both ends of the floor. He's the guy that's going to make us be an NCAA tournament team, and he understands that, and he's ready to do it.
Jason Morris, is he going to be one of those players that's going to bring a lot of excitement to the floor when he's out there?
I think so. I mean, he's probably the best athlete we've had here in 5-6 years, and shooting the ball well on individuals. But in terms of a running and jumping from that standpoint, I mean, he's very, very athletic, and he can play multiple positions. You'll see him like Oliver. He'll fluctuate between the 3 and the 4 as well. At least this year they will.
More athletic than Derek Payton?
He's right there. That's a good one. I would say him, Derek, and Ishmael are probably the 3 most athletic kids we've ever had here. I mean, he really gets up. He gets up, and he's fast. Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. He gonna make you sound good. I promise you that. I mean, when we do our conditioning workouts in the morning, I don't know if you ever gone out and tried to do 400-meter runs with 2-minute rest in between. It's pretty hard. Yeah, I'm sure you do. I can tell by looking around the room. Yeah. But I mean, honestly, if he ever decided to give up basketball, he could be a 400-meter runner. I mean, he is an unbelievable runner. He can really. I mean, he doesn't look like he's struggling at all when he's in that 3rd or 4th one.
Is this a team with the amount of ball handling you have on the floor? Do you expect them to come out of the shoot pretty quick this season, or how do you see the team?
I'm gonna throw the old line at you. We're taking one game at a time. So we'll start with Charleston Southern and work our way from there.
Does it make it easier to teach the guys this change in systems when they all seem so excited about it? I mean, each of them said this is what I played in high school. We didn't have a big man in high school last year.
It is funny to see the looks on their faces. Like, you mean we don't have to throw the ball inside now? They'll understand there's going to be a happy medium. They may not be throwing the ball inside to a big guy, but they're going to be throwing the ball inside. Trust me. They're excited, but again, they're experienced. Again, you can't put a price tag on how they closed the year last year and realizing what you have to do to win every game, every possession. I think that Maryland game was a real eye-opener for them, that they played so well and got down to the end and got beat on a miraculous shot. And, it's when you're a freshman and coach tells you, jumping to the ball or boxing out or following through with 2 hands on a pass or catching the ball with 2 hands, you think it's just like talk. Then all of a sudden you see a shot like that go in and you start thinking to yourself, well, there was that one possession at 10-minute mark of the first half. There's that possession 2 minutes to go in the first half, so they start to understand. And so that's why I think, to me, in just teaching and talking to them this fall, they seem a lot more locked in. They seem a lot more locked in. Again, the experience factor is important.
Ryan talked a little bit about the maturity factor, and he feels like he's matured from freshman to sophomore.
Yeah, he has. Yeah. I mean, they still got some things to be more consistent with. But then again, I'm somebody that I kind of nitpick on all the stuff, where you sit in the classroom and how you dress when you go to class, all those things I'm constantly throwing up to them. Did you get in, get your free throws up, things like that. We chart all, just getting on them about just little things. I don't have any major issues with these guys. I mean, they're good guys. They're really good guys. But I think in order to be great and to truly achieve your potential, those little things got to be important as well. So.
This time of year is finally.
Yeah, I am. the schedule gets so crazy because you're doing 6 a.m. running, and then you have individuals in the afternoon, and then so now you focus in, you practicing at 3:30, and kind of go from there. We'll still do our individual instruction like we always do to help our players get better and improve, but now your days are a lot more settled. So.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.